ch-7.2 Personal and environmental factors affecting learning. Question number 11. Discuss the impact of the home environment on student learning. Number A. Differentiate between healthy parental involvement and detrimental helicopter parenting. Number B. Explain the significance of a family's educational aspirations as a learning factor. Number C. How does the availability of a quiet study space at home affect a student's academic performance? The home environment is a powerful non-school factor that significantly influences a student's learning trajectory, encompassing parental attitudes, resources, and aspirations. Number A. Healthy parental involvement. Healthy parental involvement entails supporting a child's education by showing interest, creating a conducive learning environment, communicating with teachers, and encouraging autonomy. This is constructive helicopter parenting. In contrast, is an over-involved, controlling style where parents solve all of the child's problems, make decisions for them, and excessively monitor their life. This can stifle the development of self reliance, problem solving skills, and intrinsic motivation, making the child dependent and less resilient. Number B. A family's educational aspirations, the beliefs and goals they hold for their child's academic future act as a powerful motivator. When a family values education and holds high but realistic expectations, it is often translates into greater student effort and persistence. This creates a home culture where academic pursuits are prioritized and supported. Conversely, low educational aspirations can inadvertently signal to a child that academic effort is not a priority, affecting their motivation. Number C. A quite dedicated study space at home is crucial for effective learning. It minimizes distractions, allowing for better concentration and deeper cognitive processing. Exempli gratia, homework, self-study, and revision. Lack of such a space, common in overcrowded homes, forces students to study in noisy, distracting environments. This increases cognitive load, reduces the quality of time on task, and can lead to incomplete assignments and poor retention of information, directly impacting academic performance. Number 12. Explain the concept of helicopter parenting and analyze its negative consequences on a student's development of academic persistence. Helicopter parenting is a colloquial term for a style of parenting characterized by excessive over involvement in a child's life. These parents hover over their children, rushing to prevent any struggle, solve their problems, and shield them from failure or disappointment. This may manifest as doing their homework constantly, communicating with teachers about minor issues, or intervening in peer conflicts. While often stemming from good intentions and a desire to see their child succeed, this approach is fundamentally detrimental to the child's long term development. The primary negative consequence for academic persistence is the erosion of self efficacy and resilience. by not allowing the child to face and overcome challenges independently. Parents deny them the opportunity to learn from mistakes and develop problem solving skills. This can lead to students who are anxious, lack confidence in their own abilities, and have low frustration tolerance. When they encounter difficult academic tasks later in life without their parents' direct intervention, they may give up easily as they have not developed the intrinsic motivation and persistence required to work through difficulties. Number 13. The architecture of learning. A Kendriya Vidyalaya is planning to construct a new primary wing. As the principal, you are part of the planning committee. The architect has proposed a traditional design with long corridors and identical rectangular classrooms, each with poor natural light and fixed forward-facing desks. You feel this design is outdated and will negatively impact learning based on your understanding of physical environmental factors. Number A. Argue against the proposed design by explaining the impact of lighting and ventilation on learning. Number B. Propose an alternative vision for the classroom layout that reflects modern pedagogical principles, referencing the concept of ergonomics. The proposed traditional design, while cost-effective, ignores decades of research on how the physical environment or the architecture of learning directly impacts student engagement and cognition. Number A. I would argue against the design by highlighting that poor lighting, especially a lack of natural light, is linked to eye strain, headaches, and fatigue, which directly hinder concentration and reading ability. Studies show that classrooms with ample natural light can improve student performance. Similarly, poor ventilation leads to higher levels of carbon dioxide, causing drowsiness and reducing cognitive function. A stuffy, poorly lit room is psychologically unconducive to the alertness required for active learning, making the physical space a barrier rather than a facilitator of education. Number B. My alternative vision would be for classrooms with large windows for maximum natural light and cross ventilation. Instead of fixed desks, I would propose modular ergonomic furniture that is age appropriate and can be easily rearranged. This allows for flexible seating arrangements from traditional rows for direct instruction to circles for discussion and small clusters for collaborative work. This flexibility supports differentiated instruction and student-centered pedagogies. Such a design treats the classroom as the third teacher, an active component in the learning process. 14th, explain the influence of the school's acoustic environment and the classroom's social structure on a student's ability to learn. Number A. How does the acoustic environment of a school impact student concentration? Number B. Contrast the effects of the collaborative versus a competitive social structure on student learning and well-being. Both the physical acoustic environment and the constructed social environment of a classroom are powerful, often underestimated factors that can either support or hinder the learning process. Number A. The acoustic environment refers to the label, and nature of sound within the learning space. High levels of external noise from traffic, playgrounds, or adjacent classrooms can be a significant distraction, making it difficult for students to concentrate on tasks and for teachers to be heard clearly. This constant auditory interference increases cognitive load as the brain has to work harder to filter out irrelevant sounds. For students with hearing impairments or attention deficits, a poor acoustic environment can be a major barrier to learning, impacting comprehension and academic performance. Number B, a competitive social structure where students are ranked against each other can motivate high achievers but often creates high anxiety, discourages risk taking, and can lead to social comparison and low self esteem among struggling students. In contrast, a collaborative social structure which emphasizes group goals and teamwork fosters positive interdependence, communication skills, and mutual support. It creates a safer learning environment where students help each other, share ideas, and are more willing to tackle challenging problems, promoting deeper understanding and better social emotional well being for a wider range of learners. Number 15. Managing peer dynamics. In a class 9 section of your school, a dominant peer group has emerged that ridicules academic achievement, labeling studious classmates as nerds. This peer effect is negatively impacting the academic aspirations of several otherwise bright students who are now deliberately underperforming to fit in. The class teacher is struggling to manage this negative social dynamic. As the principal, what specific actionable strategies would you advise the teacher to implement to counteract the negative peer effect and reshape the classroom's social norms? To counteract this negative peer effect, the strategy must be multi-pronged, focusing on restructuring social dynamics and redefining what is valued in the classroom. I would advise the teacher to first implement structured collaborative learning activities such as the jigsaw method by creating tasks where each student, including the dominant ones, has a unique piece of information essential for a group's success. It fosters positive interdependence. This forces students to rely on their studious peers, shifting the dynamic from ridicule to reliance and demonstrating the value of academic competence in a practical, non-confrontational way. Secondly, I would suggest introducing diverse avenues for achieving status and recognition beyond just academics. This could involve classroom roles, project leadership opportunities, or competitions in areas like public speaking, creative arts, or problem solving that allow different students to shine. By publicly celebrating a wider range of talents and contributions, the teacher can dilute the social power of the dominant group and create a more inclusive culture where academic effort is seen as one of many valued attributes, not a target for ridicule. 16. Explain the Pygmalion effect and its profound implications for the teacher-learner relationship in a school setting. The Pygmalion effect, also known as the self-fulfilling prophecy, prophecy, is a powerful psychological powerful psychological phenomenon where the expectations a teacher holds about a student's abilities can significantly influence that student's actual performance. If a teacher believes a student is capable and intelligent, they may unconsciously provide more encouragement, more challenging tasks, more detailed feedback, and more time to respond. This differential treatment fosters the student's confidence and motivation, leading them to perform better and ultimately confirm the teacher's initial high expectations. Conversely, if a teacher holds low expectations for a student, they might offer less praise, simpler tasks, and less wait time, subtly communicating a lack of confidence. The student internalizes this, their self-esteem and effort decrease, and their performance declines, fulfilling the teacher's negative prophecy. The implication for the teacher-learner relationship is immense. It underscores that a teacher's beliefs are not neutral. As a principal, it is crucial to train teachers to be aware of their own biases and to consciously maintain high yet realistic expectations for every single student, as this belief is a critical ingredient for student success. 17th, the quality of a teacher-learner relationship is pivotal factor in student success. Number A. How does a teacher's communication style, including clarity and pacing, affect student learning? Number B. Explain the importance of the repo factor in encouraging academic risk-taking among students. The dynamic between a teacher and a learner is not merely instructional but deeply relational, with communication and trust forming the bedrock of an effective educational experience. Number A teacher's communication style is a critical instructional tool. Clarity in explaining concepts, providing instructions, and giving feedback reduces cognitive load and prevents misunderstandings. Students cannot learn what they do not understand. Pacing, the speed at which content is delivered, is equally important. Pacing that is too fast overwhelms students, while pacing that is too slow can lead to boredom and disengagement. An effective teacher constantly monitors student comprehension and adjusts their clarity and pacing accordingly, ensuring the instructional delivery is synchronized with the learner's capacity to process information. Number B. Rapport refers to the trust, mutual respect, and positive connection between a teacher and their students. This is a prerequisite for academic risk taking. Learning inherently involves stepping out of one's comfort zone, asking silly questions, and making mistakes. In a classroom with a strong rapport, students feel psychologically safe. They trust that their teacher will not ridicule or penalize them for errors but will instead support their efforts. This trust empowers them to attempt challenging problems, participate in discussions, and explore new ideas which are essential for deep learning and intellectual growth. Number 18. How does differentiated instruction move beyond a one size fits all approach to teaching in a diverse classroom? Differentiated instruction (DIE) is a pedagogical philosophy that fundamentally rejects the one-size-fits-all model of teaching. It acknowledges that students in any given classroom have diverse learning needs, readiness, levels, interests, and learning profiles. Instead of delivering a single uniform lesson to all, a teacher using differentiated instruction proactively plans plans and implements a variety of instructional approaches to meet these individual differences. The core principle is to provide flexible pathways to learning, ensuring that every student is appropriately challenged and can achieve the same core learning objectives. This is achieved by modifying one or more of three key classroom elements: content, what students learn; exemplary criteria, using texts at varied reading levels; process, how students learn; exemplary criteria, offering both individual and group work options; and product, how students demonstrate learning. Exemplary criteria, allowing a choice between writing an essay or creating a presentation. By providing this flexibility, differentiated instructions ensures that advanced learners are not bored and struggling learners are not left behind, making learning accessible and engaging for everyone. 19th, implementing differentiated instruction. A history teacher of class 8 in a Navodaya Vidyalaya is teaching a unit on the Indian Rebellion of 1857. The class has a wide range of abilities. Some students read well above grade level and are highly motivated, while others struggle with reading comprehension and have difficulty grasping abstract concepts of cause and effect. The teacher wants to move away from a single lecture based approach. As a pedagogical leader, advise the teacher on how to apply principles of differentiation. Number A. Explain how the teacher could use scaffolding based on Vygotsky's zone of proximal development for the struggling learners. Number B. Describe how the teacher could design a tiered assignment to cater to the different ability levels in the class for the final unit tasks. To effectively teach this diverse group, the teacher must strategically implement differentiation techniques that support struggling learners while challenging advanced ones. For struggling learners, the teacher can use scaffolding to bridge the gap between what they can do independently and what they can achieve with support, their zone of proximal development. This could involve providing them with a simplified text summary, a graphic organizer to map the cause and effects of the rebellion, a vocabulary list with key terms pre-taught or working with them in a small guided reading group. These temporary supports help them access the core content and build understanding without lowering the learning objective. B. A tiered assignment would involve creating different versions of the final task that all relate to the same core concepts but vary in complexity. For instance, all students might be asked to analyze the causes of the 1857 rebellion. Tier 1 for struggling learners might be to create a poster with illustrations and simple captions for three main causes. Tier 2 for grade level learners could be to write a one-page newspaper report from the perspective of a person in 1857. Tier 3 for advanced learners could be to write an analytical essay comparing different historical interpretations of the rebellion's causes. Number 20. Number 20. The universal design for learning UDL framework is built on three core principles derived from neuroscience. Number A, state the three core principles of Universal Design for Learning (UDL). Number B. Explain what is meant by providing multiple means of representation. Number C. Provide an example of offering multiple means of action and expression. Universal Design for Learning is a proactive framework for designing curriculum and instruction that is accessible and effective for all learners from the outset, minimizing the need for later accommodations. Number A. The three core principles of UDL are: number one, provide multiple means of engagement, the why of learning, which taps into learners' interests, challenges them appropriately, and motivates them to learn. Number two, provide multiple means of representation. The what is learning, what presents information and content in different formats. Number three, provide multiple means of action and expression. The how of learning, which offers learners alternatives for demonstrating what they know. Number B. Providing multiple means of representation means presenting information in more than one format to cater to diverse learning preferences and needs. For example, when teaching about the water cycle, a teacher could explain it verbally, auditory, show a diagram, and an animated video visual, and provide a written text. This ensures that students who may struggle with reading can still access the information through other modalities, making learning accessible to all. Number C. Offering multiple means of action and expression means giving students various ways to demonstrate their understanding. After a unit on a historical event, instead of requiring every student to write a traditional essay, a teacher could allow them to choose between writing the essay, creating creating a timeline, performing a short skit, or recording a podcast. This allows students to leverage their strengths and express their knowledge in a way that is most effective for them. 21. Evaluate, Evaluating lesson plan for UDL. You are reviewing a science teacher's lesson plan for class 7th on the topic of the solar system. The plan states, I will deliver a 30-minute lecture using a PowerPoint with text heavy slides. After the lecture, students will individually complete a 20 question worksheet. The homework is to write a 500-word essay on their favorite planet. Critically evaluate this lesson plan from the perspective of the Universal Design for Learning (UDL) framework. Identify its key weakness and suggest specific improvements for each of the three UDL principles. This lesson plan is fundamentally weak from a universal design for learning perspective, as it offers a single rigid pathway for learning and assessment, failing to account for learner variability. Its primary weakness is its one size fits all approach, which is likely to disengage many students and create barriers for others. The lecture worksheet essay format heavily favors students who are proficient in auditory processing of verbal information and written expression while disadvantaging others. It lacks flexibility and choice, which are the hallmarks of UDL. To improve it for representation, the teacher could supplement the lecture with a 3D model of the solar system, a short documentary video, and an interactive simulation app for engagement. The teacher could start with a poll asking, if you could visit any planet, which would it be and why? And incorporate collaborative group work to research a planet for action and expression instead of only an essay. Students could be given the choice to create a travel broker for a planet, build a model or design an infographic, thus providing multiple means to demonstrate their knowledge. Question number 22. Effective student activities are a cornerstone of engaging pedagogy. Number A. What makes a learning activity authentic and why is this important? Number B. Explain the pedagogical rationale for incorporating kinesthetic breaks into classroom routines. The design of student activities is a critical component of instructional planning, with authenticity and physical engagement being key considerations for maximizing learning. Number A. An authentic learning activity is one that is connected to real world contexts, problems, and tasks. It requires students to use knowledge and skills in a way that mirrors how professionals or citizens would use them outside of a school. For example, instead of just calculating percentages, students might calculate a budget for a hypothetical school event. Authenticity is important because it answers the why are we learning this question, making learning more meaningful, relevant, and motivating. It helps students transfer their learning from the classroom to real life situations, enhancing retention and application. Number B. Kinesthetic breaks are short periods of physical movement integrated into a lesson. The pedagogical rationale is rooted in cognitive science and biology. Prolonged sitting can lead to decreased blood flow, mental fatigue, and a drop in concentration. Incorporating movement such as stretching, a quick brain gym exercise, or even just standing up increases blood flow and oxygen to the brain, which can enhance focus, attention, and memory. These breaks help reset the brain, manage restlessness, and improve the overall learning environment, especially for younger and more active learners. 23. Designing a 21st century learning space. Your school has received a grant to redesign a traditional 30-year-old library into a modern learning com- commons. The current space is silent with fixed heavy tables and shelves that create a rigid, uninviting atmosphere.